Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, those who are enthusiasts of StarCraft. If you don't already know me, my name is Dr. Spurs, Brandon Emerson, and I'm going to be bringing you the second game of the day. Well, the second game of the day for me, but it is a PvZ, again, on the Xel'Naga Caverns, between the Red Protoss FourkExo, interesting name, and Birdkicker. He who kicks birds because, I don't know, guns aren't good enough for him, so he has to go out there and just kick all the damn birds. But it is a PvZ, as already mentioned. The map is Xel'Naga Caverns. I'm sure I'm just repeating myself, just as a formality. But if you saw the last game, and by last game I mean the game I just casted, and hopefully it's the in the correct order on the YouTube channel. If not, I just look like a fool. But it was also a PvZ, and we saw a 5-gate all-in go horribly wrong for our Protoss player. Hopefully you haven't. Hopefully you have seen the game, and I didn't just ruin the ending by telling you that the Protoss player made an amazing come-from-behind victory. Now I definitely ruined the ending for you, but I'm excited about this game. I hope you're excited too. Hopefully it isn't another 5-gate all-in, and hopefully it isn't another bajillion spine crawlers. And I'm curious to see where each player goes. Again, I got this replay off of sc2replayed.com. I like getting replays off of that site just because whenever I cast a game with a WIU member, I'm sure if you haven't noticed the pattern by now, I'll go ahead and spoiler alert, I'll tell you the ending to every WIU game. They win. The WIU player wins just because nobody submits to me a game that they lose. And I can't tell if it's like a pride thing or if, like, I mean, nobody saves replays that you lose in. I mean, I always go up and ask them, like, hey, you got a replay lying around? I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, this is me totally raffle stomping this one guy. It was awesome. And I had ice cream afterwards because that's how hard I raffle stomped him. And tried to get a little Birdkicker tried to block this cybernetics core, but I mean, people don't keep games that they lose, so they never submit games that they lose. And there is a pylon block down here in the natural, so it is a sad day to be Birdkicker. His expo is super late, so we're already seeing some dirty things out of FourkExo. It's kind of, I'm trying to think of a better way to say it, but he will. Oh, he almost did a nice little play by clicking on the minerals to prevent his probe from being surrounded. The natural for Birdkicker is going down, and I'm curious to see where it goes from here. We do see 2 gases out of our Protoss player, FourkExo, 1 gas out of our Birdkicker. Not a Zerg kicker. He is playing Zerg. It'd be a shame if he started kicking Zerg, and I'm sure we will see Zergling speed start as soon as he reaches 100 gas, but he is not yet. We do have the 1 Zealot on hold position for FourkExo and the Stalker. Nay, the Sentry. Excuse me, I yawned a little bit there. Not that you're boring, FourkExo, not Expo. Oh god, I'm so sorry. I didn't know FourkExo. I'm sorry, I'm such an ignorant fool to not know your name. The Zergling will be not actually poking around. But we do see a pylon going down on the low ground here for the Protoss player. Immediately noticed by the Zerg, by this one little Zerglin hopping around like a cutie. And we do have a soon-to-be scouting overlord out here in the corner. And the Expo, the Queen, is already here for Birdkicker. The Expo will be completing here in a second. We will see it transfer. The second gas for our Zerg player is going down. I'm so curious to see where this goes. Zergling speed is about halfway done. We do have a 1 probert in here, gonna be doing some poking around. He will go right through those drones because he had clicked on the minerals, but he will not give any new scouting information for the Protoss player. He's gonna see it. Just everything is normal, fine and dandy, and we do see the Expo going down right at 6 minutes, and lots of sentries. I mean a lot of sentries. So it looks like our Protoss player going for a very sentry heavy build. We'll probably see a lot of zealots coming out here soon, so for a cool zealot sentry play, I like watching zealot sentry play because it's just like the sentries have all the power in the world, just cut armies in half, and then the zealots just kind of go to town. It's like I don't know. I can't think of a good analogy, but I mean, if I'm just gonna stop trying, because any analogy that I come up with is gonna be terrible. Like, I just know it for a fact. We do see another pylon going down, a forge on the low ground. That's kind of funny. 4KXO. It's kind of a little tongue twister. It's giving me a headache just thinking about it, but we do have the layer popping for the Zerg. So both players have been pretty passive in these first 7.5 minutes. Just a little bit of poking on both sides, and the Zealot Sentry army is just kind of on hold here. One cannon. Oh no, that probe got trapped between the cannon and the pylon. So one more casualty on the Protoss side. We do have roaches moving at a very fast pace here. They do look kind of ridiculous the way they're kind of waddling over the creep, but we do see Galil reconstruction on the way. So we will be seeing some speedy roaches. So I'm sure we will see some burrow, and we do have in fact pneumatized carapaces, faster overlords, so they are no longer slow overlords, and we do have a marauding Zealot Sentry, light on the Zealot, heavy on the Sentry army, just kind of walking around, poking about, seeing what's going down. We do have a Zerg Expo probably on the way. That is probably why Birdkicker is actually not kicking birds, but kicking over rocks here, and not actually kicking, but actually spitting acid. That is not at all what his name implies. Can you imagine if his name was Acid Spitter, and then he used roaches? Like, if he only went roach play, that'd be kind of funny. Just like, yeah, I'm Acid Spitter. Oh, why are you Acid Spitter? I use roaches. Only roaches. That's it. Even if you go air, I go roaches. You can't stop roaches. We do have a nice diamond shape Overlord formation here in the back, and the Overseer will be poking in to see the robotics facility. I don't know if the Protoss player 4KXo actually knows if there are roaches. Like, he hasn't seen the roach horn. I don't know if he's seen any roaches. So, I do foresee roaches totally destroying Zealot Sentry. There are a lot of sentries here. These rocks are going down pretty slowly compared to if those were other units. We do have this Overseer. It will be seeing the exact timing of this robotics facility. Wow, it was labeled and I was having a hard time. It looked like he pooped a changeling, but it didn't go down. There is a Twilight Council on the way, and the Overseer is just getting picked on at every turn. That poor Overseer has had such a hard life, but he will get all the scouting information that our Zerg player will need. So Birdkicker is going to go ahead and take a third. Birdkicker is going to take a third. That should not have been as hard as it was. We do have one attack upgrade finished for the Protoss player. One attack is on the way for the Zerg, as well as pathogen glands. So we will be seeing some infester play here shortly. Roach infestors against a Protoss. I don't play either race, so I could not tell you how well that will go. I need more sleep and more oxygen to my brain. This one Zealot is going to be coming over to this watchtower, and this Roach will be kiting. Birdkicker devoting all of his APM right now to this one Roach as the reinforcement Roaches arrive, and he will save the one Roach, and it's even going to be a little boss and just get in a nice little warning shot there. Like, hey, you stay out of our territory, man. This is Roach Town. We're starting a settlement right here. It's called Roach Town. You're not invited. Sentries suck. And we do have what looks like... I don't know, does that gap look a little big to you? It looks like a oddly placed Nexus going down for 4KXo. We'll be poking in with this probe. Actually, no, we're just going to hold the watchtower. So, like, we've seen a lot of nothing here. I've just been kind of rambling on about, like, what they're doing, but both players have just been super passive. This Birdkicker has been droning up really hard. He's at 75 drones. We do see 4KXo at 63, so he's doing a decent job keeping up. We will have High Templars on the field, so they will be able to feed back these infestors, and it's going to be an all or none kind of game here, folks. If I smell what you're cooking, or what's shaking bacon, or some other terrible phrase like that. We have Immortals to deal with the Roaches. We have High Templars to deal with the Infestors. So I'm going to put my money on the Protoss here, despite the, oh my goodness, the 50 food disadvantage that he is at. So let's take a look at the Army tab to see if, that's not actually what I'm looking for. Control A. Army supply is heavily in the Zerg's favor. Charge is on the way, and we do have another attack upgrade. We have 1-1 Protoss army and a 1-0 Zerg army, which a huge number of roaches. Birdkicker is actually just kind of instantly maxed out in the short little time that I've been talking. This one Overseer, no! Mr. Overseer will die and slightly supply block the Zerg, but this is a huge roach infestor army. Why? Oh, I'm so sorry, FourkExo. I've condemned you to death by putting my money on you. You just gotta really play this out really safely, and oh my goodness, the roaches will be force fielded in half, and with nowhere to run, these storms will go down, but roaches are fairly tanky, and this one High Templar getting to the front and getting sniped, more force field going down, just because there's that many sentries here. A little bit of a misclick on that force field, if you ask me, and FourkExo, he's gonna maybe hold this off. Oh my, it looks like he will force a retreat out of the Zerg, who in the end really didn't lose that much, only 20 supply. There's one Zealot's like, oh, I can't stop, I have the bloodlust, man. Charging into his death just for that extra little swipe, not worth it, Mr. Zealot. And by the skin of his teeth, maybe, FourkExo, not Expo, oh my goodness, FourkExo did hold this. That was a really scary 200 push. I thought he was just going to go ahead and get rolled, but he held it with his obnoxious amount of force fields. We do see Hive Tech on the way. +2 attack for the roaches is finishing. We do have the Spire halfway completed. Not, in my opinion, it might be a little dangerous choice, as the mutas will just kind of gib to storms. And FourkExo, trying to get the... get more Zealots in here. Charge has finished, and he is working on 3 attacks, so he is 2-1 to 2-0. So the Protoss does have a slight advantage. These roaches Zealots are just gibbing, and fungal growth going down on the Immortals. The Immortals can't actually take part in the fight. A couple of High Templars got a little too far ahead, and even with the Neural Parasite on one of the Immortals, and that will do it for Birdkicker. He just kind of rolled over FourkExo that second time. FourkExo didn't really have that much in the way of sentries. He definitely survived that fight because he had so many sentries, and these infestors didn't really take part in that first engagement. It was just all these roaches up here in the front. But the second 200 push is what did it. We did have a 4th going down for the Protoss player, as he was nearly mined out of his main. But it did not matter. The Zerg himself was on a almost 5th base here. It was about 3/4 done. He was mining out of this high yield for some time now. So FourkExo giving it the good fight there at the end, and Birdkicker takes it the win. So that is 2 games in a row we have seen the Zerg completely raffle stomp on Zelnaga Caverns. There was no pressure out of FourkExo. He didn't really do anything to put any kind of pressure on this natural. He played super passively when he was trying to take his natural, and he didn't contest this 3rd at all. He just kind of took a 3rd of his own, and by the time his 3rd started paying for itself is when the Zerg was running in with 200. So in my opinion, there's never a good situation when you can just leave Zerg alone. And I think this is a pretty good example of how a Zerg just kind of left to whatever he wants to do is a very, very dangerous and a very, very powerful one at that. The Spire never actually completed, which makes me sad. We didn't get to see Mutalisks play. But I think the Mutalisks, if they had done enough harassment in the other bases, it was definitely going to go to the Zerg here. So I guess the moral of the story is don't just leave your Zerg to themselves. I feel like there's a catchier way to say that. I'll think of a cool catchphrase about just harassing the piss out of Zerg. I guess that could be one too. Just, yeah, you ever played a Zerg? Yeah, just harass the piss out of them. Do what you gotta do, man. Get them all riled up. But that is that for this game. Relatively short. Kind of sad that it was a one-and-done kind of game. I feel like there's a bad sex joke to be made there. But I will abstain. I hope that's the right word. I'm not very good with big words, but I'm going to continue this experimentation with letting the Procaster run for an additional 20 seconds or so. to see if it does, in fact, still cut off the 20 seconds. So I'm just gonna... These roaches, the storms were not the strongest choice, because roaches can tank swarms. Storms, not swarms. Roaches can tank storms pretty well. How much HP does a roach have? 145. It's quite a bit. The storms would have been a lot more effective on the infestors, but he never really got a chance. They were really well protected in the back there, and he never did